I know these stuff. And a part of me froze. And they're still so floppy in their infant stage. Oh, slippery buggers in the bath. Good day, C3 parents. I'm your host, Karien, and today I'm going to own up to some of the parenting mistakes that I've made. It's not easy, but everybody makes mistakes, and as being part of being human is making mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to look at 3 of the mistakes that I've made. Some of them are quite, one of them at least is quite serious, and the other 2 are just, odd moments in my parenting journey, and I want to share them with you today. So please comment down below, what mistakes did you make? What silly mistakes did you make in your first parenting journey? If you're new here, please subscribe, ring the bell so you get your notifications, and if you like the video, remember to hit like. So let's dive right into. So the first mistake that I have made, all right, the number 1 mistake I made was with our firstborn. Directly after birth, everything went well. We did the breastfeeding, but Daddy focused on diaper changing and getting baby dressed and doing all the other stuff, while I was focusing on starting our breastfeeding journey the right way, which went well. It went well. I was so proud of myself. I can do this. Besides the feeling of completely being overwhelmed, it really is one thing to look after other people's children and another to look after our own. And trying to balance the emotions and the confusion about some of the things that I was doing, it was just a weird space to occupy. So the first time I didn't do any of those things for baby. I only held the firstborn when it was feeding time and when there was no one else, no one else in the sense like when Dad was not around, when Hubbatron wasn't around. So he went somewhere and he came back on the second day. I think, he wasn't allowed to sleep over. So the next morning I was left to my own devices and I'm supposed to change this child's diaper. Take out the diaper and I tried to fit it on, and it's like, but with the tabs to the front, the release tabs, and it didn't want to, it just didn't fit right. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's a new type newborn thing. Tabs needs to go to the back. So after about 5 minutes of trying to figure out is this right, is this wrong, I put the diaper on tabs to the back. Now, please bear with me. I have taken care of myriads of babies. I've changed diapers for friends' kids. I've changed diapers for family. I know these stuff, but that day I knew nothing. I was Jon Snow. Changed the diaper. Hubbatron came back. I fed baby. He took over and he looked at me and he looked at the diaper and he looked at me. And he looked at the diaper and he went like, my love, you put the baby diaper on wrong. I'm like, what? He's like, the diaper is on the wrong way around. I'm like, no, it's not. And he's like, it is. I'm like, oh, come on, I struggle. And that's when I started crying. So I think when we have these conversations about parenting and all of that, we often so much focus on, the mom knows best, this mom didn't know best. The mom knows what she's doing, this mom didn't know what she was doing, apparently. Because I was the one that put the diaper on the wrong way around. And you know what? During the pregnancy, we teased Hubbatron, you need to remember, this is how you put on onesies, this is how you put on diapers. He's never done that for babies. And here, the one with the years and years of experience was the one that messed up. So that was the first one. The second one was a bit more dangerous, and that one kind of stopped me cold. All right, so we did the breastfeeding journey. We started introducing solids with baby-led weaning, and I was like very chuffed with myself. I'm doing this right. My kid is feeding himself whatever food he's willing to put in his mouth, chew and swallow. At that point in time, we were completely unaware of his neurodiversity. So at that point in time, we were just experimenting with food, and he took a piece of watermelon. It wasn't really even a big piece, and we're at a group meeting with fellow moms and all of that, and like just getting together with moms, talking about things. And I sat there, and he was busy munching away, and he put a piece of watermelon in his mouth, and the next moment he started choking, and I couldn't get it out, because the last time I did first aid or anything with first aid was 3 or 4 years before he was born. I was never in an emergency situation where I had to do this, and here my 6.5, 7-month-old child is choking, and I went complete. I'm like, and a part of me froze, like literally froze, and because I couldn't get this out. And I was fortunate, and I still up today, I'm so grateful for the lady that led the group that we were attending. She immediately just flew up when she saw that I'm struggling. She grabbed him and she almost knocked the wind out of him to get that chunk of watermelon out of his throat. And when it was out, and he was breathing again and was crying and all of that, I almost went back to not giving him solids at all. I think for after that, for about 3 or 4 weeks, I was so paranoid on giving solids that we went over to porridges and yogurts for that 3 or 4 weeks, because I could not wrap my head around the idea to risk giving him something that could get stuck. And really, guys, it was a really small piece. I made sure I cut it really small so that he wouldn't choke, and for some other reason that piece just got stuck. So that was one of my biggest parenting, one of my biggest parenting scary moments. Being scared and not knowing what to do. Immediately after that, I did go for first aid training, and I would recommend to a lot of parents, go and get some first aid training, go get yourself certified to know how to handle this, because kids can choke on anything, even their own spit. That I've learned, because some of us do. So guys, that was one of the things that I learned with a shock. So I went for the first aid course, and ever since then I'm far more relaxed and I'm okay. So and I'm not bashing baby-led weaning. Baby-led weaned our second child as well. It was a freak situation. It could have happened with anyone, could have happened at any time. So, but yeah, that was one of my biggest, I think one of my personal biggest mistakes that I personally believe that I made, is that I did not go for first aid training before our baby was born, or at least infant first aid training. So, because I could have handled the situation probably better, but you never know. I might have had all the knowledge in the world, but because it was my child, I could still have frozen up. The third one, oh my word. Okay, so babies, when they're being bathed, especially when they're still so floppy in their infant stage, are slippery buggers in the bath. Really, really slippery, and that is without any soap. Anyway, so I missed the bathing instructions section that they show you how to bath a baby. I didn't Google it, I didn't YouTube it. I'm like, hey, I grew up with kids around me. I've done this. Diaper mistake. But anyway, so it was my first turn that I need to bath baby, and I didn't do the arm hold thing where you put the head in your arm and you hold the other arm and hold baby in them. And I was holding him, and for some other reason I had to change my hands, and at that moment he slipped out of my hands and went under the water. Obviously quickly pluck him out of the water, and we both decided bath time was over then. From that day onwards until he was about a year and a half, when it was my turn to bath him, he was in the bath with me. I will be in the bath physically with him, so he can sit on me, could lie on me, so that I could use my whole body to prevent his face from going underwater. So it happens to the best of us, I know, but it was just one of those, oh my word, what are you doing? I think that was probably also the last time we used the baby bath contraption thing. Ever since then, he either bathes with myself or with Hubitron. I don't, which reminds me, that specific day, okay, it was my turn to bath him. So after the whole dunking underwater thing, took him out of the bath, and then they're nice and relaxed. And Hubitron had to get him dressed. And as he lifted up the legs to put the diaper on, our son had a poop explosion on the towel and everything, onto Hubitron's shoes as well. Oh my word, it was so funny. And he did that twice to him. Not once, but twice, guys. Oh, anyway, I am super blessed to have a husband, a life partner that is very actively involved with the kids, and there's quite a lot of stories of how we both had a bit of parenting bloopers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today. Please hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what bloopers did you have, what odd moments have you had in your parenting journey. Guys, please stay safe, wear your masks, and I'll see you again next week. Cheers.